What's good, everybody? Welcome back. Today is Thursday, August 14th. I ended up making around $4,100 and some change today. Took two trades. One was a loss, one was a win. Both, in my opinion, were A-plus setups. I was actually completely fine with the loss. I was going to step off for the day, and then my setup presented itself literally right after. So, starting off in the morning, what was I looking for in the morning? Well, what did I notice? Hold on. In New York. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. I hope you guys can. Otherwise, that's embarrassing. Anyways, what I noticed in the morning? Well, what did 8 a.m. news come and do? We came and tapped into this for value gap right here. Okay. And that was from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. yesterday. And what did I notice on here? Well, it did not do that here on ES, right? 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we had a for value gap SMT. So not only did we tap into an hourly bullish for value gap after having a high time frame AMD model, right? We have accumulation, manipulation. Now we're looking to distribute higher. What else did we do? Well, we were inside of this 4-hour for value gap right here, and we ended up respecting this as well. So this was my condition coming into this morning. I said to myself, if we inverse this at 10 a.m., I can expect us to go down to all this low resistance liquidity right here. Right, but we ended up respecting it. And what were our targets above? Well, we had all-time highs right here, and then we had just more targets above us. I believe this was a entry point to a 15-minute. Yes, it was. There was that 15-minute. There was also this 15-minute that did not get hit out yet. So those were my targets to the upside if we did plan on going higher. So coming into this morning, market open, knowing that we had a bullish SMT along with an hourly bullish gap and a 4-hour bullish gap that was getting respected up until this point. Well, this 15-minute didn't really mean anything to me. Why? Well, it would have if this 15-minute would have meant something to me if we came up into here and maybe started to reject it a little bit. Then I could have been like, okay, maybe we want data lows and then go higher. That would have been my thought process, possibly a data low SMT. But we weren't really seeing a reaction off this for value gap. So it's like it essentially wasn't there. Why? Well, because higher time frame holds higher power. What did we have on the hourly? Well, we had a clear accumulation zone. Oh, fuck. Did I just click on gold? We had a clear accumulation zone right here, right? What do we get? We get a manipulation lower, right? This is all in the higher time frame, so it might look a little funky. But we get a manipulation lower into what? Into this hourly fair value gap along with the 4-hour fair value gap. And we also got, again, concrete jungles with dreams. Anyways, we got a manipulation down into there, and now we're looking for a distribution higher. So remember, all time frames are fractal. They all move the same. So here's just an example of a higher time frame AMD model. So that added to my bullish confluences today. But after I seen this dildo of a fucking candle, I was kind of playing both sides of the ball, right? If we ended up rejecting off of this 15-minute, then I could have assumed we wanted to go lower, probably towards data lows. And then, like I said, maybe this LRL over here, right? So I was playing both sides, but we ended up just disregarding this entire 15-minute. And then we, on the way up, right, because we still had data highs right here. Here's where our data highs were. I was like, okay, maybe if for a continuation model, this data high was my next target. So if we're right here, maybe we come tap into this 15-minute and then we can target the data high. That's what I was thinking up until this point. Or if we go higher first and take out the data high, then we can mech it down towards, and the mech model strategy is being made today. I'll drop it tomorrow. But then we can target this unfilled 15-minute and 5-minute that's in here as a take profit area. Because what do we know about price? Well, price moves like this, right? So if we come up and take out data highs, but leave a fair value gap, then what can we expect? Well, we can expect price to come back down into it, right? So I hope that makes sense. Will make you feel brand new. Lights will inspire you. Anyways, so that's what I was looking at. Let's see a next 15-minute candle go by. Well, cool. Now the possible continuation, right? Because for what reason? What do we have now? Well, we still have this 15-minute below. And what else do we have? Well, we have this unfilled 5-minute with relatively equal lows, right? 1, 2, and 3. So I was expecting, okay, cool. We come down. We have all this LRL right here, along with relatively good highs with data highs. And then there was also an unfilled 30-minute fair value gap right here as well in this general area of price. So we had draws to go higher, right? We had clear draws to go higher. But what ended up happening? Well, we ended up fucking ripping to the upside for some reason. I don't know why. You would think we're only fucking 8 points away. We'd at least tap into these gaps before ripping higher. But we ripped higher. So now what was I looking for? Well, what did I say before? If we go higher first and take out these data highs, we also had a data high SMT, right? Because here's data highs on ES. So this not confirmed, but helped my conviction to, okay, possibly we're going to retrace. And then ES also had these equal lows right here as well, which I believe was a 15-minute fair value gap. Yeah, which was a 15-minute fair value gap. So we had an SMT with these data highs. And not only did we get an SMT with these data highs, well, what did we do? We tapped into this unfilled 30-minute, and we also tapped into this unfilled 15-minute as well. Okay? So now all I'm looking for is an inversion, and what do we have right here? Well, we had a 1 minute, but what else was there? There was also a 2 minute, right? What else was there? There was also a 3 minute, okay? And then I believe there was a 4 minute as well. Yeah, so the 4 minute opened up. The 4 minute was huge. And then there was a 5 minute. So if this 5 minute got inversed, I would have entered off the inversion. But what did we end up doing? We ended up just leaving the 5 minute unfilled. So, okay, now I'm like, okay, we have a plethora of these unfilled for value gaps below us. We just tapped into these bearish PD arrays. We have this SMT on the data highs. What can we look for now? Same thing. Mech model down to, if you guys wanted to hold it down here, you guys have big balls, but you could have. Someone in my Discord actually held it down there, and that was sick because he screen recorded it, fucking hitting take profits. That was awesome. But what do we have? Oh, fuck, hold on. All right, sorry about that. So again, lower time frames, we have an accumulation. All right, we manipulate higher. And actually, right here on my exit phase, I ended up entering because there was a 30-second inversion. And at this point in time, the fucking the SMT was still holding, right? So now what are our targets below us? Well, we have this unfilled 15-minute right here. And then there is this unfilled 5-minute right here, which was going to be my break-even point. So I took this because one, great RR, right? 1 to 2.37. And actually, before I even realized this 15-minute opened up, I was going to hold it all the way down here for like a 1 to 6, I think it was. Yeah, or almost 1 to 7. So I really like this RR on this trade. And I was still convicted. Why? Because data SMT, 30-minute, 15-minute bearish for value gaps, right? Data SMT held, and then we got a 30-second inversion, which ended up being the highest leg. And I was pretty confident that even if this trade didn't play out all the way to the 15-minute, as long as we hit this 5-minute for value gap, I would have moved stops to break even anyway. So it would have been a risk-free trade. So I was pretty confident on the draw, especially to the 5-minute. That's why I entered. But as you guys can see, I didn't enter yet on my evals because I wanted a better entry on my XFAs because that's where the real money is, right? So I ended up entering right here, which was roughly the same exact spot as my XFAs. And then I'm in the trade for about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And then I get stopped out about right here. Yeah, so I get stopped out. So I wasn't mad at all due to the fact that I've kind of contained my psychology over the months of me just doing dumb shit. And on top of that, it was what I was looking for all morning. So I was in Discord. I called this out in Discord. I literally was telling everybody that if we come here first, if we see data highs first and the S&P's holding, we see an inversion with clear targets below, which we had, then I'll take that short. But if we wanted to take longs, I would want to see this continuation get hit, right? And continuation model is dropping today. But I would want to see our conditions get hit and then inverse out of the conditions. Well, we ended up taking out the data highs first, so I was fine with taking shorts. It just didn't play out right here. What I should have done is I should have just waited for a 1 to 5 minutes to open up and not be greedy. I guess you can say I was being greedy. I risked pennies to the dollar on this trade. 1 mini. So it was only like $200 I missed to make like 700, which was perfectly fine with me, right? I was fine with risking that. I accepted my risk. Again, I have a video on accepting risk as well. It helps your psychology. But what did we do when we ripped up? Well, when we ripped up, we created this 3-minute for value gap. So now I'm like, okay, cool. We just also tapped into this other 15-minute as well that was unfilled, which is right here. So now I'm like, cool, we got another 15-minute tap. We have a 3-minute. I feel much more confident with 3-minute. This 5-minute is still untapped. This 15-minute is still untapped. Let's ride, right? So this 5-minute was still my break-even point. Okay. I guess I can get this out the way, right? You guys understand. And what do we end up doing on the 3-minute? 3-minute gets inversed. I enter right here on my exit phase. And I don't know what the fuck I was doing on here. I think I entered one candle. Yeah, one candle later. So I ended up entering right here. I wanted to get the better feel on my exit phase because, again, real money. Unfilled 5-minute was my break-even point. Again, went in for 1 mini. Break-even point got hit. Move stops to break-even. And then take profit ended up getting ripped. And my take profit was this unfilled 15-minute for value gap right here, right? I didn't want to hold it all the way down here just because that's all I needed for the day. I ended up making, like I said, I think it was 41.27 on the day. I actually have it in my calculator. 41.21 on the day. So pretty good day overall. However, if you did want to hold it all the way down here and you're pretty fucking highly convicted that I was going there, well, it ended up going there and smacking TP, right? So overall, that was my thought process for this morning, right? 1 win, 1 loss. I was fine with playing both sides of the ball, depending on what price did. And that's what I mean by don't get married to your bias, because like I said, I was fine with taking shorts and I was fine with taking longs as long as the A+ setup presented itself, right? So with that being said, that is all for today's video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to either DM me again or just put it in the comment section. I will respond to the comments. But yeah, that's all for today. I'll catch y'all boys tomorrow. Continuation model being dropped today at, I think I'm gonna do it for 2 p.m. And then yeah, psychology videos out, all that good stuff. So go check out those videos. Catch y'all boys.